Coffee with a Chair was recorded before a live studio audience.
Welcome to Coffee with the Chair. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It's our pleasure, our honor to facilitate this event. We do it every single month. It's free and open to the public. We hope you join us. We got a packed house today. It's standing room only in here. I'm not sure if it's because, of course, we visit with the chair, which everybody loves for the information that they glean from it, or if it is the massive amount of donuts that everybody is hyped up on. But I want to thank Jason Ashworth from Parlor Donuts. Jason and I have met each other a few times, but please welcome him, everybody. If you didn't realize it, Parlor Donuts is our sponsor today, and we're so happy to have them. They've been such a great asset to the community, coming in and sponsoring and donating and doing all the right things for us to make sure that we're paying them back. And they're paying us in donuts today. And I want to talk about a few things. One, this is a franchise, right?
It is, yeah. It's the franchise started in Evansville, Indiana, which is where my wife Kendall and I are from. We have a business partner, Steve and Joe Plew. We're all went to high school together, all from the same town, and our pastor is actually the one that started this company in 2019. He franchised, obviously franchised it, and there's now 102 shops nationwide.
That is incredible. Yeah. What an American success story, too, on top of that.
It really
right?
is. Yeah.
And Evansville, I mean, it doesn't get any more Midwest than Evansville, right? Like hometown, Midwest.
Yeah.
I'm from Ohio, so I'm very and familiar with Evansville, so yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's a very tight community. The last wedding ceremony you did was actually our daughter's just a couple years ago. So we're very blessed and honored to obviously represent his family and his business here in Port St. Lucie.
And why did you choose Port St. Lucie?
Well, it's interesting because he is our pastor and we know him a little bit. The company, this has been about a 2-year process for us. We're getting ready to celebrate our 1-year anniversary here in Port St. Lucie at the end of the month on June 27th. So we'll be giving away a free donut and of your choosing. And so we asked that everybody come out and help us celebrate. We're in St. Lucie West, and in the shopping center there. So we feel really fortunate to be in that location. And here, we were given a map to go anywhere in the country we wanted to go. And we traveled a lot of different areas: Virginia, the Carolinas, all over Florida, even further south than here. We felt like when we came here, we met the people here, met people at the chamber. We just felt like this was the place for us. There's a lot of growth that's coming here.
For sure.
And it's just one of those kind of in your gut, and we felt like this was the right spot, and we're very happy that we chose this.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
we
And
really
you picked a great location. I know we talked about it before you came down, but St. Lucie West is a great location, that town center there where all those shops are. So, and you built out a beautiful shop. I love it in there. I think it's very nice, open, warm, you know, welcoming.
Yeah. It's a big space. It's when you have obviously standards that we have to go by, but my wife Kendall is the one that decorated it. She did a fantastic job, and I think people really enjoy it when they come in.
Yeah. Well, you need a big space because these are some dang big donuts. Yeah. Let's talk about them, because I was saying before the show that French toast is your most popular.
Sure.
So for some reason when I go in there, and it's good, I just always get the French toast, and I need to branch. I'm not a real big brancher outer. I've been at the same job for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm not a big, so sell me on something else here, because there is a lot. If you can't see them, hopefully we'll get a shot of them, Stefan, but there are just, the donuts in here are amazing.
They're certainly not what you would consider to be a traditional donut. We have over 20 flavors, and a few of those, 3 to 5 flavors, I'll say, rotate depending on the season. The specials, we have Mother's Day, Christmas.
Yeah.
Certainly, you know, the traditional fall flavors and so on. But we have the banana pudding here, which is our summer seasonal flavor now. We have a cookies and cream, which is year-round, and then we have the strawberry shortcake by you. And then each shop is allowed to come up with their own flavor. So you do
a signature flavor.
Signature flavor, great.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great way to describe it. So you have your traditional flavors that's on the menu, and then you get to come up with your own. So where we are, we started having people come in from all over Florida. We had and the East Coast, certainly the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut crowd, and then a lot of people from South Florida and Miami. So for the South Florida people, we created key lime pie.
Okay.
To kind of honor those people.
I see it. It's green.
It's green. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, right?
Yep.
And then we also have a Bavarian cream filled donut for our East Coast folks.
Okay.
So, and
Well-
then you have carnival, campfire, turtle, churro. The churro's really popular here for some reason. And then of course, you know, the raspberry filled with the powdered sugar on it.
Okay,
So
I want to crack one open, but I want the churro one. Point it out.
churros right here.
Okay.
There you go.
So don't mind me at home as I switch
Wanna
out my
swap 'em?
donut. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to show everybody, because I will eat this. You all know that, right? That it's not your traditional donut. Tell them exactly what is it inside.
Well,
See this?
it's a layered dough. It's very light. It's more croissant-ish.
Yeah.
But again, our pastor, which is Derek and Jen Hayden, that's a couple that started the company. And he literally developed this recipe, dough recipe, at his kitchen table.
Nobody wants to watch me eat this on camera, but I will eat
You want to
this.
try?
Yeah.
I
promise I'll eat it.
Adventure, yeah.
Yeah, but I will not eat it on camera. We
Yeah.
will lose many, many viewers very, very
Sure.
quickly.
But it's layered. A lot of people, when they try them for the first time, they expect that they're going to bite into something that's very dense, like a cake, and it's not. It's very light and airy, and maybe not as filling as what people generally think.
And it's very big, so you think, oh, I'm only going to eat a little bit of that, but
Yeah.
you won't. You'll eat
You
the whole
don't.
thing.
Yeah.
But it is light, and I think that's partly why you eat light. You eat
Sure.
it.
And then we also have minis, which in some places I guess you could call them donut holes, or more like a little cube. They're more of a 1 or 2 bite donut, if you will, and we have a variety of flavors with those. You can get them plain, powdered sugar, cinnamon sugar, coconut filled, or raspberry filled.
Oh,
Yeah, so a
coconut
variety
filled
there as
sounds.
well.
I'll be out for those. I
Yeah.
didn't even know you had those. I just go in and get the same coffee
there
and
you
the
go.
same donut. So yeah. Well, I want to thank you for sponsoring, definitely, and for bringing so many donuts for everybody here. But I think that we need to band together and thank them for choosing Port St. Lucie, because we always want to support. This is a small business. It's a franchise, but it's a small business. You
Sure.
and your wife are running this place, and so we need to be out there supporting the businesses like this, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for being with us, Jason.
Thank you.
Always nice to see you, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed meeting your wife, Kendall, as well.
Well, thank you, and we really appreciate the support that the Chamber has given us. It's really helped us launch our business, and we look forward to having our 1-year anniversary, and so we really appreciate all your efforts.
Yeah, we'll be there to support. We'll
Yeah.
definitely stop by.
Thank
All
you.
right, we're going to take a break, everybody, and we'll be right back with Board of County Commission Chair Jamie Fowler. I want Welcome back. Welcome back. That was a long applause. We have a big audience today, so it took me a minute to be able to get in there. But welcome back to Coffee with the Chair. I'm still Teresa Aronson, and of course, I'm joined by none other than the Board of County Commission Chair, the whole reason why we do this show, Jamie Fowler. Welcome.
Hey, good morning, Teresa.
Good morning. Good morning. Did you get a donut yet?
I absolutely refuse to do donuts in the morning.
I know. So just so you know, Jamie
Though I
doesn't do
will-
a lot of sugar anyway.
I will
and-
take one with me for this later
You
this
will?
afternoon. I will. I have
You
to
will
try
eat
one.
it?
I'm not saying I'll eat the whole thing, but
No,
I will
I know.
absolutely
'Cause-
commit to taking a bite.
Okay, because usually when I'm eating sugar, she's like, very judgy.
We have to have people hold us accountable.
Yes, very judgy. But I did get a bite in the commercial break. Do we have
They
commercials?
do smell absolutely delicious, I have to tell you.
They
Yeah.
do. Well, you brought a guest as always.
Yes, yes,
And
so this-
I love that.
And yeah, it absolutely has nothing, the timing is totally ironic, but we have with us today our budget manager, Jennifer Garrity.
Oh, okay. Oh, budget manager. Okay, where do we start? Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
First, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you.
Yeah, so the whole point, I know there's a lot of property tax stuff going on, but honestly, in hindsight, you know, we set aside a week in July for the commissioners to review the budget. We know the numbers at that point. We know how much is coming in, what most of our increased costs are, and all of those things. But even though we spend a good amount of time on the budget, most people think it's maybe a couple weeks, a couple months, and I really wanted to bring Jennifer on so that she can speak to the fact that budget is something that really they prep for almost all year long.
Yes. Yep.
So
Anybody that's ever done a budget knows you prep all year.
Yeah, all year, yes. Yep.
Yeah. Very good. How long have you been doing that, Jennifer?
I've been with the county for 17 years.
Oh, my goodness.
So I've been every aspect. Since I started, I've done some type of budget. I started in tourism and worked with Charlotte. And then I did, and for about 3.5, yes, a while back. And then I worked in parks.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I worked in park. I had different color hair then, so
Okay.
and that might have been it. Yeah, so
How many years ago was it? Because
it's been a while. So
I'm the
it's been over
longest
10
serving
years.
yeah. TDC member. Did you know that?
Yeah. I was around when Charlotte had her first set of kids, so that's how long ago it was, if that
When
tells
she
you
had
anything.
okay.
Yep, yep.
Oh, that's not that long.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
memory's
and then
fading.
and then I worked in parks for a few years as a
Okay.
budget person there, and then I've been in the Office of Management Budget for over 10 years, so
Okay,
I've been
very
there for a
good.
while. Budget's
So-
my thing.
So how many pages, if you print it out, is the budget? Do you print it out anymore?
We do. We create a budget book, 2 budget books every year that we do actually print out, and it's over 400 pages. This year's probably be a little bit bigger because we are doing a lot of more line item type stuff that we're trying to get out there for people to be able to view. But it is definitely, we put a lot of time into that. And we win awards for that too. Our book we've won 27 years in a row for our GFOA, distinguished award for that. So,
What's a GFOA?
so it's a government financing association. So basically, they set the guidelines. We follow the guidelines and make it happen. Yeah.
So what do you think people would be most surprised about in the budget?
That it's year round.
No.
I think a lot of times, we start in January and start getting ready, and we go through the different processes. But July, by the time we meet in July, a lot of people think that, okay, well, you're done. Well, no, then we go and start doing all the legislative stuff that we have to do to accommodate and meet our statute guidelines. And we start in July, we end in July, we start in August, and then we have our hearings in September, and then we start all over again. So,
Yeah. As soon as you put one budget to bed,
yes.
you're literally thinking about what am I going to do,
Yes.
next year.
Yep.
Yes.
No, I get it. Now, I want to refrain from opining on the tax, property tax, because the board hasn't, voted on a position. My board hasn't voted on a position. So I don't want to give any opinions that would be not wise at this juncture. But do you have a number to what it would affect your budget?
Yes. Well, we're still looking at the preliminary numbers, but I think the first year it's a hit of over $40 million, and then I believe the second hit would be approximately $130 million. So, and those are just guesstimates really right now because we're still kind of looking into it, but it'll definitely be detrimental.
Very good. So, and we'll leave it at that until we all, confer with the masses, and then we'll come back with, because I think that there is a lot of information that needs to be disseminated about the effects of this referendum. 2, that is not the only thing, or constitutional amendment. This one's not a referendum, but there are some referendums, but that one's a constitutional amendment. And there are a lot of referendums going to be on the ballot too. This is going to be a very big ballot, I feel like. And so the Chamber, of course, has a PAC, and we will go and do some research and try to help educate voters.
Yeah, one of the things, I'm sure not many people are used to looking at budgets with lots and lots and lots and lots of zeros. Coming from the private side, I was looking at more like a $9 million budget, $10 million budget. You're tacking on, now we're at 15?
Yep.
$1 million budget in total, right? Which sounds insane. But one of the things that I learned is that part of that budget, the way government accounting standards are set, is in that $900 million budget is our anticipated balance starting forward. So monies you already have that now you basically have to account for twice. And Jennifer, correct me as I go,
No,
just to make
you're
sure. So you're almost double counting, and then if you move money around from fund to fund, you do inter-fund transfers,
Yeah.
that money counts twice also.
Oh, no.
So even though we're out there saying, yes, it's a $915 million budget, really when you look at just from a property tax standpoint, it's about 347
Yes.
million current is what we bring in, and that's what funds your sheriff, your constitutionals, money goes back to the CRAs for the cities, mental health, the jail, inmate medical,
Yeah.
New Horizons,
Yeah.
Medicaid,
Yeah.
911 operators, and we haven't even gotten to
To-
a library
I
or
was just gonna
going
say,
on a swing at a
Quality
park
of
with my
life.
son.
Yeah,
Yes.
quality of life ones, parks, rec.
So I think that's
pools.
really important, and that's something I can tell you. Prior boards and flavors change throughout the years, but that's nothing that's ever really been spoken about or explained, and I think that is an area that really has to be communicated as well, because that's
And
huge.
so those are big picture items, right? Like quality of life, mosquito control, water management. Those are big picture items. But there's little quality of life items. Even our small business assistants, we have saved people millions of mistakes, millions of dollars in mistakes, and we have helped businesses relocate here, help them identify where is going to be a viable location like Parlor Donuts. And we get monies to do that because I have to have a person that can sit down with people and tell them these things. And so there's and that's a drop in the bucket of something. But there are many things like that and that money stays here, right?
Yes.
Okay, but we're not opining.
Not at all.
At all.
No,
At all.
we're talking budget.
We're talking budget.
talking
We're talking budget. This is a slippery slope, but we're talking budget.
But yeah, so by the time it gets to us in July and we're doing those budget hearings, which have been in the past at the Fenn Center now, I'm really excited that they're going to be at the chambers and videotaped. They've always
Good.
been audio taped, but now videotaped.
Good.
So, again, prior to that, the team is meeting with all the departments. This year, what was the direction given to the directors again? They were provided, they needed to submit 3 budgets this year.
Yeah, this year we had the departments submit 3 budgets. We had them submit a flat budget, meaning it was a budget, the same budget that they had asked for last year. And then we asked for a 3% reduction off of that flat budget. And then we also asked them to do a critical needs, meaning, with public works, I'll give this an example, road resurfacing and things that they need to do on that side. If it wasn't part of that flat budget, that would be considered their critical needs. So it's been a different year for us because we've put a lot of work in trying to look at all of those different levels of budget. So yeah, it's a little bit different this year. So we've already kind of started making that motion of, where can we make cuts and where can we do certain things and looking at that flat budget, so.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, and even prior to the property tax, reform talk, but as boards change, right, you get new voices. And so this board has been very vocal about wanting to dig in and understand that budget better, right? Because the more we understand it, the more we can be advocates and explain those types of things out in the community, just like the fact that almost $500,000 of our budget is basically duplicated monies that are already accounted for, but again, government accounting standards require us to count those monies twice. So those are the types of things that we need to make people aware of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. And we will do more of that in the next. We have almost 2 months to do all of that education.
Yes.
So we will work on it. So we will have sample ballots and referendum and constitutional amendment language very, very soon, and then we'll be able to dive into that because that's always fun for me too. And I've said this for years. The constitutional amendment languages are always super fun because not only are they trying to sell you this horse, they're going to sneak another horse in there too.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, right? Governments do have alternate revenue streams, but what I will say, and I'm sure Jennifer will confirm, is there's a lot of strings attached to those other revenue.
Oh, yeah.
So when you go in and pay something, for a building, permit,
Building
those monies
permits.
have to stay in building, right? They
Impact
can't be used.
fees, art.
So
public art,
here's
yeah.
another, which I think was a crazy thing I learned. Like, I love learning about how many, Teresa, you do budgets. How many different buckets of money do you think the county budget accounts for?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly guess, right? Because there's so many little ones that you're not even thinking about.
4,712 different buckets of money
Monies.
that can't be commingled, that can
Right.
only be used for very specific uses. So I don't know, maybe the conversation is maybe some of the strings are loosened on the restrictions on those buckets of money. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who
because
knows?
we
We'll
get
see.
that conversation all the time. They're like, well, if they wouldn't have done this, they could have done that.
Yeah.
And typically you can't, because the money you use for this, you can't use for that.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's hard for people to understand.
Yeah.
You know, capital funds, impact fees, they all are very stringent on guidelines.
Segue away from budget for a second, but a real life example, right, is we've put out the RFP for the hotel for the airport property, right? Now that's going to generate tax dollars. However, all the revenues that we get from that, because it's in the airport overlay, it's airport property, all those revenues have to go and be reinvested back into the airport. They cannot be used in any other way. So that's a great example of strings attached.
Another good example would be the new library in Port St. Lucie that they just demolished and they're rebuilding, right? The
Over
one
there
that's
by
on-
Ravenswood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
on
So a
Prima
portion
Vista.
of that, you know, when we're rebuilding it, we can only use our regular general fund money to do that stuff. But when we're looking at the expansion part of it, that's where the impact fees come into play. So you're looking at a building that's being built that's using two different funding sources and one funding source just for the expansion because that's what it's qualified for.
Yeah, because impact fees can only be used for capacity.
Expansion, yep.
Capacity means expansion, additional roads, additional lanes. So they are very, 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 very tightly wrapped up. And so you decided to put a little bit more. They decided to put a little more room on the library so they can use the impact funds proportionately for that a little bit more room.
But it was needed. The library now will be about 10,000 square feet up from 4 or 6.
Four,
It
yeah,
was
it was four.
only at 4. So, and quite frankly, that 10 is going to be filled as soon as it's made. It's a very busy library. Yeah, I went to that library when I was a kid.
So did I.
I had this conversation with somebody the other day, you know, who's going to the library, and I was like, you'll kind of be surprised because there are resources there that you can't afford for home.
Well, the library isn't you just walk in and grab a book anymore. I mean, they have music, they have sewing and crafting and 3D printer that I have no idea about. But yeah, it's
Outlet.
more than just books and reading and a computer. Yeah.
And in some of our areas, this is the only contact with things like that that many of the users have. So yeah, very interesting stuff. I don't envy you in the coming year, but we'll see how it goes. Right, right. And so the budget workshops, when are those going to be?
July 8th through the 12th, I
Yep.
believe. Yep, 8th through the 12th. It's like a Wednesday to Tuesday this time because of, I
And
forget
anybody
why,
can
but-
come to those.
Yes, they are public. We would love you to be there.
And there's a public comment section, or no? Because it's a workshop.
No, because it's a workshop.
Yeah,
But
okay.
once you get to the actual budget hearings, then there's public comment.
yeah.
And you
The
can always
workshop
reach
not.
out to us beforehand. Call us, email us, come visit us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Is there anything else we should know about the budget? I know there's probably a million questions, but yeah, budget stuff is intense.
Yes.
I mean, I have a little tiny budget for the chamber, and it's still very intense, right?
Yeah, it took 3 years for me to say I feel comfortable with the budget book, where I can say I know where to find things.
Right.
Yeah,
you know?
still not. I've been on the school board for a while, and they have a huge budget, as you know, and I'm not comfortable with the book yet. It's so massive that they keep get baby, stepping me into it. I'm like, no, I want the whole, but it's pretty, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's mostly electronic because it's so huge.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take questions
Yes.
from the audience.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Oh, wait. Oh, poor Nick didn't have the mic. It's okay. Stefan's getting it. Does anybody have questions Oh, very good. 1 second. Go ahead.
I know that your budget is huge, Jennifer, but do you know if there's a line item on there for any road improvements for Indrio Road?
I do know that there's talks of the Public Works Department working with the FDOT on working on, I believe, widening the Indrio Road area, but that is a joint project that we're working with them on. So yeah, you probably will see something in the future because there's a lot of growth happening in that area.
And if I could just tack on to that, so Indrio from Kings to US 1, the state owns the rest of Indrio Road out to 95. They've just picked up that portion there from Kings Highway to US 1. So they do have plans. I think lighting is first coming up. They have plans for lighting out there. You're welcome.
Very good. Any other questions? And then you can always see these things on master plans.
Yes.
So the TPO has master plan that includes all of the county, and then each jurisdiction has the roads that are within their jurisdiction on their master plans.
And Public Works puts out either a monthly or quarterly, I forget, but they put out a regular update of the projects going on and upcoming.
believe
It's
it's
actually a great
monthly,
little
yeah.
read. Yeah.
Yep, very good. Any other questions?
I had a quick question. Good morning. My
Good
name
morning.
is Teresa. I was wondering, is there anything in the budget for a shelter? Because there's homeless people living on our streets in Fort Pierce and there's no shelter. So I was just curious if there's some kind of a budget for that.
Absolutely. So what we do have is we purchased it's a hotel on US 1 just north of 25th Street. We purchased that for $1.2 million with an $800,000 appropriation help from Rep. Trabulsi and Senator Harrell. Possibly Grawl, I don't want to leave her out, but I know definitely those two carried it and helped. So just $400K of local dollars put in on that. We just approved a month ago the contractor to do the work, and it was supposed to be a 120-day max. So it should be turned over to Treasure Coast Homeless Society by the end of this summer, beginning to fall to be ran. It's going to be open to veterans first, and then we're going to expand from there.
There you go. Anybody else have a question? All right. Very
Some good questions, though.
Yeah. I mean, budget is always, it encompasses everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's always nothing not included in budget. Well, I look forward to seeing how we traverse the next,
Yes.
6 months or so, 3 months.
And I would say, don't we have a legislative update coming up soon? So
It's
anyone
this
interested?
month. I think this is June, so by the time they
June.
see this,
Oh, you're right. It's going to be over.
it's going to be over.
Yeah.
But we do have our legislative update with our state legislators. This was every other year they have session earlier or later, whichever you choose. One year they have it in January, the next year they have it in March. Election years they have it in March, so they'll have it in March next year. This was a January year, and it's supposed to be a 3-month session,
And they're still in session.
not done.
Yeah.
So this is the latest we've ever had our legislative update. And honestly, it's a moving target because when we do have it, I would like to have some answers.
Yeah.
And so I think pushing it out this far will help us with that.
Yeah.
But in the past, previously, because there's been legislative updates, but it's been a whole lot of maybes. It could. I want the answer. So we've pushed ours off till late June.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
That's it. That's all we can do.
Yeah. What else is going on? We've got our spelling bee, our adult spelling bee is happening
That's
in
right,
August.
that's coming up.
Yeah, yep. And I can't think of anything else. That's about it.
I mean, it's summertime. I would say, check out our communications, our website for all the free things happening, all the activities going on between our Parks and Rec department, at our libraries, out at our Oxbow Center. There's a lot of great things that go on, free or very reduced activities to
Right.
get the little kiddos outside, get that energy spent so they can get home and take a nap and give mom and dad a rest.
Yes, definitely. And also All Things Treasure Coast, which we just opened up to our ambassadors but that houses the Oxbow, all those, they do all of their events on there. So it's sort of a catch-all for all the government entities, and anybody can post their events on there for free. So check out allthingstreasurecoast.com.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
Yeah, good. Because we do all of Oxbow's events, and a lot of what you have on your calendar, we try to get on there.
Perfect.
Good.
Love that.
All right, well, if we don't have any other questions, I want to thank Jennifer for
Oh,
coming.
thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And do you have anything else you want to share with us about what the county and We're good for now.
We are good for
But
now.
Stay tuned. Next
Stay
month.
tuned.
Next month's show should be.
We're deep in budget.
We're deep
We
in
are
budget.
deep in budget.
We're deep in election. You know.
We haven't, I can't talk too much about it because it's quasi-judicial, but the first meeting in July, we have a big development on the table, Indrio Groves, which is about 1,000 acres north of Indrio, just east of Spanish Lakes Fairway. So,
Yep.
yeah, development.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, well, with that, I want to thank Michael from Steamworks Brewery. He has been just so loyal and faithful and bringing us coffee in Danish every single month. Of course, Parlor Donuts. You know, one's far east, one's far west, but visit both of them because they're both local, you know, individuals that we want to support. So thank you to Michael and Steamworks. And of course, the staff here and this beautiful audience. We had a really big audience today.
Great turnout.
And I appreciate that so much. And if you would have come down, you would have gotten a free Parlor Donut. So everybody probably missed out. But I want to invite you to come join us next month. Again, it's the first Thursday of the month, right here at the SLC TV studios. And if you don't know where that's at, it's on 25th. It faces the west. It's free, open to the public. As soon as you come in the doors, we're right there. So come next month at 8:15, right?
Yes.
8:15, first Thursday of the month. With that, thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you real soon.